Hello everyone and welcome to Travel Tree, your go-to place for travel tips, airport updates, and global guidelines made simple. Today we're talking about USA airport entry rules for 2025, so whether you're planning your first trip across the pond or you're a seasoned traveler, you'll want to stick around, especially now that things are shifting and adjusting frequently. Let's start right at the top with the big picture. As of 2025, entry requirements into the United States have seen a few updates. These span everything from documentation and forms, to health considerations, to processing and customs procedures. Some changes are subtle, and others may affect your itinerary planning, so let's walk through each of them gently, clearly, and with enough context so you can breeze through your arrival without surprises. First off, passports and visa requirements. Your passport still needs to be valid for at least 6 months beyond your intended stay, unless you're from a country in the U.S. visa waiver program that's exempt. For visa waiver travelers, the ESTA remains mandatory, and it must be approved well ahead. Consider applying at least 72 hours before departure. If you're from a country that requires a visa, double-check that you've applied for the right category: tourist, student, work, exchange, or other, and allow for sufficient time, since processing times may vary by consulate. New for 2025, there's been an emphasis on digital pre-screening. Some travelers are being invited to opt into an online, trusted traveler, pre-clearance, kind of like a digital fast track. If you qualify, you'll get a QR code that lets border officers pre-review your documents before you land. This can save a lot of time, especially at busy airports. Next, let's talk about COVID-19 considerations. While all blanket testing requirements have been lifted, the USA still strongly recommends being fully vaccinated. You might be asked about vaccination status, so it's a good idea to carry your vaccine card or digital proof. If you are unvaccinated, there's generally no testing mandate, but having health insurance covering emergencies while traveling is smart. Airlines may still require masks on board. Check with your airline in advance, as policies vary by carrier. Now, on to Customs and Border Protection, CBP, forms. The traditional paper I-94 arrival form has mostly been phased out, replaced by digital arrivals. If you are entering under certain categories, you'll receive an electronic I-94. Still, make sure you have your travel itinerary and any relevant invitation or booking confirmations readily available. They may ask to verify your intended stay. For visitors arriving with special purposes, like medical treatment or research, bring supporting documentation. At arrivals, automated passport control kiosks are now common at major hubs like JFK, LAX, Chicago O'Hare, Dallas-Fort Worth, and Miami. If you're a citizen of the US, Canada, the UK, Japan, Australia, or a few other partners, these kiosks can fast-track your entry. Here's how it works: just scan your passport, answer a few simple questions, and the machine prints out a receipt that gets you to the front of the line. For everyone else, the standard CBP officer interview still applies. Be ready to state your purpose of visit, length of stay, and return plans. Another update for 2025 is biometric data collection expansion. You'll see more cameras and scanners capturing facial images and fingerprints. This is now standard for most non-immigrant visitors and returning residents. Make sure your shoes are easy to remove, pockets are empty, and your hands are accessible. Some systems still guide you to place your fingers on glass plates or in fingerprint slots. Let's not forget about carry-on regulations. While TSA rules remain largely the same, there's now more automation, such as automated trays that weigh your items before X-ray screening. This helps flag overweight bags before they hold up the line. Liquids must still be within the 311 rule, and electronics larger than a cell phone need to be placed in bins. We recommend traveling with a clear tote or travel pouch for these items to speed things up. Also, keep your boarding pass ready in both digital and printed form. Some domestic transit areas require quick scanning. For luggage import rules, yes, customs allowances remain in place. Travelers aged 21 or older can bring in up to $800 in goods duty-free when returning from abroad. Any amount above that may incur duty fees. Make sure to keep receipts handy, and if you're carrying food, plants, or animal products, be aware of strict declarations. A surprising fruit or spice can cost you a penalty if not declared. A rising area of focus is global entry and trusted traveler applications. If you're a frequent flyer, the CBP has expanded global entry kiosks, and processing times have improved. You can apply online, go through a background check, and then schedule a short interview appointment. Once approved, you can use kiosks to skip long lines. It's a strong investment of your time upfront but pays off if you travel often. Here's a friendly mid-script reminder: if you're finding this helpful, make sure to subscribe to Travel Tree. We bring you the latest travel updates and advice, so you'll always be prepared and ahead of the curve. Now, let's talk about connections and transit. If you're arriving in the US but catching a connecting flight to another country, you'll likely need to go through customs and immigration before proceeding. This means you collect your checked bags, clear customs, recheck your bags, and go through security again. Remember, allow plenty of layover time, at least 2 hours. If you're transferring from international to domestic, be extra mindful of baggage deadlines. On the flip side, certain airports have streamlined processes. Airports like San Francisco Airport, Atlanta Hartsfield, Jackson, Seattle, Tacoma, and Denver have dedicated transit corridors or pre-clearance lanes that skip baggage rechecks. If you're transiting through one of these, you can often stay airside, especially if your airline is part of a multi-carrier alliance and your bags are tagged through. Always check with your carrier and airport ahead of time. What about travelers arriving by private plane or business jet? The entry requirements are largely the same, but the process is often expedited. You'll still need your passport, visa or ESTA, customs declaration, and proof of vaccination. Diamond hangars and private terminals usually have customs officers on call, which speeds things up significantly. So if you're flying private, ask your FBO, or flight service provider, to coordinate everything in advance. For families traveling with children, here's a pro tip: if both parents are not traveling together, you'll need a notarized travel consent letter from the non-traveling parent. And while facial recognition is more common, some airports still allow children under a certain age to enter manually through lines to smooth things out. Check if your departure or arrival airport has this policy to create a more comfortable entry experience. Next, let's cover special situations like pet travel. Yes, pets are still allowed, but there are strict regulations. Dogs and cats must arrive with a valid veterinary health certificate issued within 10 days prior to entry, and some breeds and species require microchips and proof of vaccinations. Some quarantine may apply depending on origin country disease status. Check USDA APHIS requirements before booking your ticket. For visitors with medical conditions or mobility needs, TSA Cares is a great option. You can request assistance from screening to your gate. Make sure to indicate your need ahead of time when booking, so staff can be ready. And if you use mobility devices, scooters, wheelchairs, they'll be accommodated, though they'll be inspected. Still, the staff are usually helpful and well-trained, so speak up if you need assistance. Something travelers often overlook is currency reporting. If you're bringing cash or monetary instruments of $10,000 or more, you must declare it to customs. Failing to do so can result in a fine or seizure of funds. So, plan ahead and report any amount over the threshold. Lastly, let's talk about travel disruptions, security alerts, and TSA rules. Always check TSA advisories before travel. You'll want to confirm whether specific items like lithium batteries, power banks, or certain electronics are allowed. In the event of travel disruptions, weather delays, security alerts, airports often activate emergency procedures. Keep your airline's app live, and sign up for email or text alerts. If you're stuck, be patient. Your airline's agents can help you rebook or move your flight earlier if seats become available. To wrap up, let's recap this journey through the USA's 2025 Airport Entry Guidelines. You need a valid passport, visa or ESTA as required, and proof of vaccination. Digital tools like pre-clearance and kiosks can speed things up, use them if available. Be mindful of biometric collection, and get global entry or trusted traveler status for breeze-through access. Carry-on, luggage, customs allowances, currency reporting, all these are still in force. Families, pets, private flyers, and mobility needs all have tailored rules. Check in advance. Know your airport's transit and connection processes, some offer smoother corridors. Stay updated on TSA and airline notices, travel disruptions can happen. If you're heading to the US soon, take a moment tonight to double-check your documents, load any required apps, maybe even schedule a trusted traveler appointment, so your journey starts smooth and stays that way. Now for the finale. Thanks so much for traveling through these rules with us today on Travel Tree. If you found this helpful, please like this video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. If you have questions or personal experiences about airport entry rules, share them in the comments below, we'd love to hear from you. Until next time, safe travels and keep exploring, because at Travel Tree, your adventure starts here.